that you all have an Apple ID and know the password for it, right? All right. So today what we're going to do is we are going to go through the process of getting your iPads unboxed, walking through the setup process so that we get you guys ready to go for classes. So today we're going to install just 2 apps while we're here together, but I am going to show you where you can find more apps that are going to be helpful and beneficial. But when we're all in a room together like this, sometimes it takes a little more of a toll on the Wi-Fi than what we like to install all those apps together. So rather than keep you here, we're just going to go through this bit by bit together. So go ahead and unbox your iPad. Take cellophane off, the lid off, and you're going to find your iPad wrapped in parchment. Go ahead and take it out, unwrap it, and just set your trash off to the side. We'll have you dispose of that as we leave the room. Once you open that up and get your iPad out, we're going to have you press and hold the power button on the upper right corner until you see the Apple logo. Once it comes on, if you have an iPhone, your iPhone is probably going to say, hey, I see a new Apple device. Do you want to set it up and transfer? Choose Don't. We're going to do this as a brand new device because otherwise we're going to be here for hours saving your photos to transfer. So we're going to do a new device today and you guys can transfer and bring all that other stuff over here. Well, so he asked what happens if I crack it. These devices do have Apple Care on them. So that means that if it does not charge, if you break it, Apple will help fix it. But for accidental damage, so screen breaks, dings, those kinds of things, they do charge a deductible. So they will ask you to pay a $50 deductible whenever you go to request that replacement. But they will walk you through that. They'll get you a new device and get you back on the road to recovery. So as you get these started up, the very first thing that it's going to ask you to do is pick your language. Once you select your language, go ahead and pick United States as your region. And then it's going to ask you about Quick Start. We're going to choose Set Up Manually at the bottom.
To use English as the main language, press the return key.
Yeah. And it looks like we have a couple MacBooks in the room. You guys' steps are going to be a little bit different. It'll be very similar though. So if you get stuck along the way, pop your hand up, and Justin or I will come and help you out.
Press the return key.
Yes. So there should be a way to get that volume off. It may just be one of the function keys at the top. It's a mute.
FN.
To use English as the
Yes,
main language.
go ahead and connect to SMWC Guest as your Wi-Fi network.
Go on, there should be an option to turn it off.
And then if it asks you about transferring, we're going to choose Don't Transfer.
What if I'm Canadian?
I would do US for here because this is where you're using the device.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes the region is more about what apps are accessible to you than about where you're physically located or originally from. So on data and privacy, click continue. And then touch ID. Go ahead and click continue. We're going to create a fingerprint ID for you. So the power button that we use to turn it on, that's also the fingerprint scanner. So it's going to walk you through having you press and lift, press and lift, press and lift on that button until it scans your whole finger. It eventually will tell you, great, now we need to do the whole finger. It's going to make you move it around a little bit more to collect all of that information. Just follow the steps. Before you do that, hang on just a second. So once you get your fingerprint added, it's going to have you take the next step. It's going to say, great, you want to add another one, choose later in settings. Don't add another fingerprint right now. And then it's going to ask you to do a passcode. Your passcode is going to be required every time you reboot the device. So if your battery goes dead while it's in your backpack, you forget to charge it overnight, you go to start it up again the next morning, you will not be able to open the iPad to use it until you put in that passcode. So make sure that it's something you can remember. Make a note in your phone, write it down somewhere. The other piece of this is, if you lose your device on campus, and it happens every year, and your device makes its way back over to public safety, into their lost and found bin, and you go, hey, I lost my iPad. Great, I've got one here. but you have to unlock it with the passcode before I can give it back to you. So if you don't know the passcode, public safety is not going to give you back your iPad, okay? So it's gonna default to a 6-digit. You can click passcode options and choose a 4-digit or an alphanumeric. You can choose whatever works best for you, but go ahead and create that. Make sure you take note of it. And then we're gonna be on the screen that says apps and data. So I'm gonna have you guys hold just a second until it looks like we've got everybody with their Apple, with their fingerprint. You may have to like, there we go.
Do not now.
Okay,
Or
so
it's
then
gonna
do your
try
passcode. Do we have
Do
everybody
not
that's got their
now.
passcode done? Are we on the apps and data screen? Okay, for apps and data, we're going to choose don't transfer apps and data. Again, we wanna make sure we're not here forever waiting on you guys. So it's now going to ask for your Apple ID. Use that existing Apple ID. So we're gonna start with your email address that you have associated with your Apple ID already. And then we're gonna enter your password. If you don't know your password, or if it fails, you thought you knew your password, it didn't work, we're gonna go through the process to reset that. We're not gonna create a new Apple ID, we're gonna help you get that reset. So if you need assistance with that, raise your hand, Dustin can come around and help, I can come around and help. We wanna get you signed in because your Apple ID will be required to download apps from the App Store. It's also going to do a 2-factor. So on your phone, it's either gonna text you a code, or if you have an iPhone signed in with that account, it's gonna pop up that 6-digit code. Hit allow on your phone if it asks you for that, so it will display the code. You can enter it on your MacBook, and then click continue. You're gonna agree to those terms and conditions. And I'm gonna pause there until we make sure that everybody caught back up. So while these things are going through, again, as I mentioned, we're only gonna install 2 apps today, but I'm gonna show you a link to one of our websites that's gonna have about 9 apps on there. I think it's 9, maybe a dozen, that you're gonna find very helpful. Because some of your classes are going to ask you to do some assignments where you may need to collaborate through an app called Teams. You may need to create a PowerPoint presentation, and you want to do that using the PowerPoint app rather than doing PowerPoint in the web. So we're gonna have lots of different options. We get everybody signed in with that. Almost there. Try to just. So one of the next questions, once you get signed in, that it's going to ask you, it may ask you about Apple Pay. It may ask you about sharing your settings. It may ask you about Siri. So if it asks you to share, we're going to choose don't share. If it asks you about anything else, Apple Pay, Siri, screen time, choose setup later in settings. All those things you can do at a later point in time. And you can choose to add them if you want to. Siri gets a little confused with all of us asking her how it's weather today, so we try not to confuse her more than necessary. And then the appearance, as you move through those, you can pick light or dark. It may ask you to make this your new iPad. If you've had an iPad in the past, it's gonna say make this your new iPad. You can choose continue. Everything else that we picked along the way is going to adjust those settings. And if it recognizes that you've already had Apple Pay set up in the past and it prompts you to enter that 3-digit code for your card, there's also an add this card later that you can do. So if you don't have that card with you, you don't know those numbers, no big deal. Just choose add it later. It'll keep prompting and reminding you to do that as you go through. So at this point, we have everybody at their home screen or nearly at the home screen, hopefully. So your home screen is gonna look a little bit different than mine. So I get my TVs. So I fall asleep very, very quickly. Your home screen is going to have a few apps already installed on there for you. These are the default Apple apps such as Weather, Find My Device, and so forth. Let me remove this so that I can actually do it again with you. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to visit the App Store. The App Store is going to be this blue icon down here at the bottom that has the white, looks like a letter A on it. Once you launch the App Store, we're going to access the search area. It may ask you about ads, it may ask you about location. Location you can, I usually choose while using the app. Okay. And then in the search box, we're going to search for Outlook. Outlook is a Microsoft app, so it's going to say Microsoft Outlook. It's the one in the upper right corner for you on the screen. Go ahead and tap the Get button. If you've already had it installed on another Apple device, it may have a cloud with a downward pointing arrow to show that you're going to download it to this device, even though you've already purchased it, even though it's free. It may ask you if this is the first time that you've purchased an app with your Apple ID. It may make you verify some information. It should not require you to put in credit card information, but it will require you to enter your address. So if it's asking you for additional information, just follow along, enter your address information, and go from there. So once you have Outlook selected, we're going to go back to your search box, and we're going to search for OneDrive. OneDrive, all one word, it's also a Microsoft app. You'll tap the Get button and follow the steps to install that. OneDrive is your online cloud storage. So if you're familiar with iCloud or Google Drive, Dropbox, it's Microsoft's flavor of those tools. And it's going to allow you up to 1 terabyte of storage space to store all of the documents, presentations, pictures, information that you need to get through your classes. So as you're creating documents in the Microsoft tools, you're going to use that as your storage location. While those are downloading, go ahead and swipe up from the bottom to get back to your home screen. And I'm going to have you launch your browser. It's called Safari, and it looks like a compass. So a white box with a blue circle and a compass on it. And I'm going to have you in the address bar at the top, browse to smwc.edu. And our video should be on the screen. Mine's still loading a little bit, so it's just holding it as still image. But if I turn my iPad back this way, I'll turn it back the other way. But you see in the upper right corner, there's those 3 white lines. We call it a hamburger menu. When you tap the hamburger menu, you get a pop-up menu with lots of other links that you can go to on the site. So we're going to have you tap Students. So again, we're using your browser, that's Safari, the compass icon, going to smwc.edu, clicking the hamburger menu from the right, and then choosing Students. It's going to ask you to sign in. I'm going to sign out so that I can follow back along with you. This time it's going to want your SMWC information, not your Apple ID. So you're going to enter your St. Mary's of Woods College email address. Mine's already been provided in there because I signed in before. But I'm going to put my password in. If you don't know your password, you can use the Forgot Password link on there. Or you can raise your hand and Justin or I will come around and we will assist you in getting your password taken care of because we want to get you signed in. Once you enter your password, it's going to pop up your Microsoft Authenticator. It's going to give you that code on screen and you're going to need to use your phone to access the Authenticator app, and you're going to link the number on the iPad screen with the app in your phone. Once you verify with your passcode or your Face ID, it'll let you sign the rest of the way in, and it's going to take you to the home screen. So you can choose yes to continue to stay signed in. This is your personal device. So once we get there, everything's signed in okay for you?
It's sending me like a text to
To verify? Okay. All right. So do you have enough signal in here to get it? Hopefully?
Yeah, I figured just.
Beautiful. We've had students that have had really poor cell signal, so it's been one of those touch and go. We want to make sure that everything works.
I'm gonna open a window and stick it outside for a little bit.
Yes. Yes. We actually had one group where the OL took the iPad and the phone and was like running around on the sidewalk outside until it finally came through and she was able to get it connected. So bless her heart, she was wonderful that day. But once we get signed in, it's going to take us to our student hub. And our student hub begins here with our One Woods logo, and then underneath of that, there's a whole section called Quick Links. And these quick links are shortcuts. They're going to take you to sites, apps, and information that you need as a student here at St. Mary's of Woods College. So the first one in the top left row is Canvas. Canvas is where your online classes are all going to take place. So your courses that you're registered for, it's where your syllabi is going to be located. You're going to hear your instructors say continuously, it's in the syllabus. We have some that have had t-shirts made that say it's in the syllabus, okay? The syllabus is going to be your best friend. It's going to tell you your expectations, when assignments are due, what the homework is, everything. Check the syllabus. So those are there. You're going to upload assignments through the Dropbox. You're going to complete quizzes through here, discussion boards. All of that information will be in Canvas. So your instructors will kind of walk you through what to expect in their Canvas course as you get through the classes next week. So just follow along there, but this will get you one click. The student portal is a little bit further down in this list. This is where you are going to see what your class schedule is. So if you've made changes to your schedule and you don't know what day or what building, what room each class meets, if you haven't checked your schedule since you came for priority registration, probably should check it. There's a chance that a room may have moved. So if you have your printout from when you were here in April or May, a room may be different now. So visit your student portal, check your schedule, make sure that you're going to the right places. There's information for dining, club sports, the library, timely care. I'm sure your OLs have been telling you about timely care, the 24/7 telehealth that you have access to as a student. You can access it through here. The bookstore has a link. There's also an Office 365 login. It's over here in the third column. When I have my iPad turned this way, it's not. And Office 365 will take you to office.com. Because you're already signed in with your St. Mary of the Woods email address and password, it's going to take you right into the online apps. You can create Word documents, spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations. You can create surveys and forms. There's lots of other tools available through office.com that you have at your disposal through this site. And by going here, it's going to take you directly in and bypass that next login process. There's also a password management link in here. So if you want to change or update your password, you can do that using the tool here. As I keep scrolling down, I can see that there's updates and news. So you'll get emails that will say that so-and-so wants to share a news post with you. This is where it's going to link you back to. So we can see there's information about First Monday. So check those out, get some information about First Monday. There's also information about commuter meal plans. If you're a commuter, find out more about your meal plan. Offices, you may visit and check in and see more information about the offices on campus, helpful documents and forms. There's also information from some of our academic departments, and then clubs and organizations as well. Okay? Jennifer, are you getting through it, or do you need, I was gonna say, if we need Jessica to stop by, we can. So we're gonna spend a little more time here, but before we do, in the top right corner of the screen, there is a square icon with an upward facing arrow. I want you guys to tap that, and it's gonna open a pop-up menu. So when I tap that icon, I get a pop-up menu. And that pop-up menu is going to give me various options. So I can scroll through. Can I give you the code on your phone? Okay, so go to your Microsoft.
So we only have one here to add the bookmarks, so then you have a bookmark of it.
So I've already tried signing in. Get a code again.
And there's a setting you can dig through to do what she's doing, but
But anyway, so on this pop-up menu, one of the options is add to home screen. So we're going to tap add to home screen, and it's going to let us create a bookmark. This bookmark is going to by default be called WoodsNet Student Hub Home. You can rename it. This Microsoft Authenticator seems to have a little bit of disconnect. So tap the add button, and on your home screen, we now have a new icon. Sorry for the spinny there. Moving my iPad and it's spinning all around on me. But now with one tap from my home screen, I can get back to that shortcut link. So now that I have that there, I'm also going to go back up to that same button, that box with the upward facing arrow. And if I scroll down through here, I also have an option that says print. When I tap print, at first it says no printer selected. So if I tap in that printer line, because I'm on the guest network, I see I have 4 printers available to me. So if you live in LaFair Hall on the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th floor, there's a printer in the center wing. The printers, you can tap the name and it tells you which floor is which one, and it will print out automatically. So you need to be near the printer when you send that, because it's going to print out as soon as you send it. SMWC print that's in the bottom of the list, however, it's connected with our copy machines that are on campus. So in the Learning Resource Center that's on the 2nd floor of this building, where our tutoring center is, there's a copy machine in there. You can go visit that. When you send your print jobs, walk up to the copy machine with your ID card. You'll swipe your badge, it'll log you in, and you can hit print on the screen. It'll print out the items that you've sent to the printer, okay? So there's also more on campus. Anywhere you see a Sharp copy machine on campus is that SMWC print. So even though you're in this building and you say print, you leave this building and went, oh, I forgot to stop by the printer. No problem, go to the one in LaFair Basement, go to the one in Holman Hall, in the computer lab in Holman Room 32. There's also a small printer. You can swipe your badge at it and get a print job back out, okay? So they're all over campus. You can take advantage of them. Please do be respectful and mindful about what you're printing. You know, if your instructor has uploaded a full copy of the textbook, don't print the whole textbook, okay? But that is available to you, so if you need to print things, you can. All right, so that takes us down through here. I do want to scroll back under this news and updates. There is a news post on here that I want you to take a look at. It's called Recommended Apps for your iPad/MacBook. When I tap the title of that news post, it takes me into this news post, and as I scroll down, I have rows and rows of apps. When you tap on one of these apps, it's going to launch you into the App Store, right to the app that you need, and you can choose Get and download it. So you don't have to do this right now. Maybe tonight when you have a little bit of downtime, you plug your device in, you can start downloading these apps. But we've got OneDrive and Outlook that we've already added, listed here. Teams is messaging and collaboration, so some of your courses may use that for you to share and communicate when you're doing group work. Canvas, I mentioned you can get to Canvas from those quick links. You can also install the app so that you actually have an app where you can upload and connect to the assignments. The SMWC Service Desk, Facilities and IT Request. This one you want to make sure you install because, as I mentioned, if you're living in a residence hall and you have an issue with your room, this is how you're going to connect with that request for help. Your RA is going to tell you, put in a ticket. Campus Life is going to say, put in a ticket. This is where you put in the ticket. It also reaches us, so if you need assistance with your iPad, if you have a question about a computer in a computer lab, maybe you noticed a printer is jammed, you can report it using this app and get to us so that we can take care of those issues. If we don't know that it's an issue, we can't fix it. So please do submit those things. We'd rather have more requests about the same issue than have no one report it and be causing trouble. Yeah.
So to get that, the SMWC Service Desk, do you just look that up on the App Store, or is there a special way to get that?
So you can get to it from this news post. If you go back to the news posts on the Student Hub, you can get to it from here. It's actually called Service Desk. It's called SolarWinds Service Desk. And then you'll just sign in with your SMWC information, and you can start creating those requests. Facilities finds it very, very helpful to have a picture included when you report a trouble issue. Also, make sure you tell them the location, okay? They don't know right off the top of their head who's living in what room, what building, what wing, so include the location as best you can in a picture. Timely Care, you can install an app to get to those 24/7 services. You can follow along with our athletic teams with their app. Office 365, so I mentioned you can do it through the browser, office.com, and do Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and so forth. There are also apps that you can install. You will find, particularly if you're in a math course or an accounting course, some of the tools on the app aren't available as they are online, so you may need to flip between the two versions to make sure that you get access to all of those tools that you need. The last one that we have in here is for library self-checkout. In the far wing of this floor are all the books, movies, and other items that you can check out from the library, and it is self-service. So if you install the app, you can sign in, you can scan the barcode of the materials that you want to check out, and you can check out that way. There's also an iPad set up on the circulation desk over there, so there's nobody working. It's okay, you can do the self-service piece and be able to take those materials with you. But as I mentioned, AppleCare, you do have 3 years of AppleCare on your devices. You'll go to apple.com/support for those service requests. If you need to ship a device, so maybe you're like, I'm not going to be going back to Indy for several weeks and I need to get this device taken care of, in town isn't an option with the repair that I need, you can choose to have Apple ship you a box. Justin or I, any of our staff that are floating around in the mail room, we can assist you with getting your device packed up and shipped out, and then when the new one comes back in, we'll come through normal package delivery over to the LaFair front desk for you to pick back up. Beyond that, if there's anything else that you have questions on, feel like you just need a little extra help getting started, let us know. Talk with your upperclassmen. The folks that you meet that are in your major, they may have some great apps, tips, tools, resources that you may find very helpful to use with your iPad. They've been doing this since they were freshmen. So lean on them. Take advantage of their experience.